Hi guys, follow me on Instagram to never ever miss any of my crazy updates. Hi guys and welcome to another vlog. I am driving the Honda City VTEC. Now this is the spare key. It looks like my house key. I kid you not, it looks like my house key. This is the City VTEC. It is an absolute legend. Ask any enthusiast and they will say that yes, this is the car which actually made them an enthusiast. Probably Honda VTEC written over here. A little dirty engine, but trust me, it is an absolute sensation in the way it performs. You can see the intake placement. Oh my lord, what a car! I mean, I absolutely love VTEC cars, and you see there's no insulation in it because this engine doesn't make sound. It gives you oral pleasure. Everything seems basic. Yes, it looks very similar to the City 1.5 which was also sold during the same time, but up front you get the Honda logo, of course, with the grille, lights, plain halogen lights, nothing complex. No fog lights on this vehicle, which could have been fitted aftermarket. Used to cost around 15 to 20,000 rupees. From the side, this is where you could differentiate VTEC with these chrome sort of alloy wheels and of course a rear spoiler. So these are aftermarket tires on this vehicle, which happen to be 195/60 14s, but the stock rubber was 175/65 14s. Now bigger wheels compared to the regular City. Actually, antenna manually adjustable. Still looks so gorgeous. From the rear, you knew this was the City VTEC because it used to say City VTEC here, and of course it got a rear spoiler, very nice looking spoiler, and twin exhaust tips. Yes, that's something to do with the back pressure. Looks so freaking awesome. Just look at this vehicle. The poise, the stance, the chrome treatment around the mirrors, everything reeks of sportiness, quality, and what Honda actually stood for in the Indian market when it entered. But in the rear, there wasn't much space on offer. The seats are actually very low, and actually I've pushed the front seat behind, so there might not be much space. But knee room and leg room was about average. There was this hole in the headrest so that you could put your hand and punch the person who's sitting in front. Headroom is decent, not that great for a 6 feet 2 inches person. There's a light placement as well as handles. Meanwhile, speakers are here on the parcel shelf. There's a center armrest as well, massive center armrest, a little tone right now. The seat has a sort of a recline and the floor is almost flat, and there is an ashtray. Meanwhile, no door pocket. These are the power window switches, chrome handles for opening the door, and the feel of the cabin was simply mind-boggling because in the center we used to get 3 AC vents, which is kind of supremely cool back in those days. 2000 we are talking about. The glove box isn't that big, but the City was not about practicality. It was all about raw power. Trust me, nobody does raw power like Honda did with this City. So mirror controls, rear defogger, space to keep stuff, and small door pockets to keep maybe a towel or wafers, power window controls, and over here in the center there's an ashtray, there's a cigarette lighter, the space to keep stuff, coin holder, audio system, AC controls, there's a clock, hazard light switch, and yeah, that's about it. There's nothing else. There's a center armrest, space to keep stuff. Like I told you, the glove box isn't that big, but this vehicle is all about madness. The way it revs is absolutely sensational. Build quality is so. Obviously no auto dimming inside rear view mirror. There's a mirror here but none over there because the person who's driving is so busy in redlining the motor. Let's quickly turn the vehicle on. Where's the key? Let's quickly turn the vehicle on. So here we go, comes to life. On the leftmost we get the tachometer, on the rightmost we get the speedometer, in the center we get the temperature as well as the fuel meter, below which we get the telltale lights. These are the stocks for the wipers, and the spray is nice, but the wiper has to be manually operated. I don't know, that doesn't seem to be right. Meanwhile, these are the controls for the lights, and the steering is big and nice. The horn is kind of meek, but honestly, who really cares about all this? Let's get driving. Into first gear, no traction control, no launch control, none of that bullshit. Revving the motor, revs all the way till 7,500 in neutral, and off we go. My goodness, the kind of torque steer on offer, my lord, that's absolutely insane. And the speedometer goes all the way to 60 kilometers per hour right away. This engine is an absolute racket. The way it redlines is an absolute maddening feast. The pull is so surreal. The way this motor pulls, oh my god, we take kicks in here. It is pure orgasm. Look at the tachometer, 7,500 RPM. It's so light, it's a go-kart on steroids. It just keeps pulling, massive pull, massive. I'm at loss for words. My goodness, what an engine. What an engine. This is VTEC power, my lord. It just pulls. into first gear, revving the motor, revs all the way, and off we go. Look at the way. I've never seen a car go faster from 0 to 60 kilometers per hour, at least on the speedometer. My lord, this motor, 1.5 liter VTEC, red lines all the way above 7,000 RPM. Actually 7,100 RPM is the official red line, but this one is going to 7,500 RPM. What pulls 0 to 100 kilometers per hour takes just 9.7 seconds. The top speed is 185 kilometers per hour. There's so much feel around the corners as well. There's so much thrust on offer. OMG, whoa! What an engine! What is happening? Every time I pull this motor above 5,000 RPM, there's something which happens. There's a nuclear reaction. There's no turbocharger. This is naturally aspirated, yet it absolutely flies as if I don't know what. OMG, what a motor! Look at the thrust on offer. So linear, yet a massive reaction after fight. Oh my god, my voice is only going into another league. What is happening? I need to stop and breathe. I'm revving the motor. It's revving all the way to 7,500 RPM, and my god, the kind of torque steer on offer is just absolutely insane. The thrust from this motor is unreal, absolutely unreal. So basically there's some jerky feel lower down, and that was because this ECU of this vehicle was imported, and a lot of people complain about jerkiness lower down. So what Honda did was create another ECU with Bosch, which was locally sourced, and that one they tuned it so well. Rather, actually they dulled the top end a bit and they improved the bottom end punch to ensure that no jerkiness happened, and it actually worked to quite an extent. Yeah, the brakes could have done with more sure-footed stopping power. Actually the brakes on this car aren't very strong. However, let me tell you, the braking performance is absolutely sensational for a car which is 16, I think not 16, yeah, 17, 18 years old. The braking performance is really very good. So I'll tell you how this motor works, okay? Low end lag is not there actually, because the whole concept of this engine is as you keep revving it, the power keeps building, and then suddenly at 5,000 RPM there's an absolute mad nuclear reaction of sorts, and that's when VTEC kicks in, and it just thrusts all the way from 5,000 to 7,000 RPM like an absolute mad hoot. Like a turbo has kicked in or nitrous shot has been fired. It's not turbocharged, it's naturally aspirated, but VTEC is kind of working like a turbo and NOS because there's so maddening thrust past 5,000 RPM. It just flies once VTEC kicks in. Now many people will be like, okay, VTEC is so overhyped. What is this VTEC? Every car has VTEC, basically it means variable valve timing, because Suzuki has VVT, Toyota has VVTi, and Hyundai has VTVT. But where VTEC differentiates itself is that all other systems, they vary the valve timing. This system, which is VTEC, which stands for variable valve timing and lift electronic control, not only alters the valve timing but also alters the valve lift as well as the camshaft profile. So this motor actually has, VTEC actually has multiple camshaft profiles, 2 or 3, and alters that as well. And that's the reason it actually feels like 2 engines. Once VTEC kicks in you, it's an entirely different experience altogether. It's absolute mad rush. Driving the motor. Now because of wider tires on this car, wheel spin isn't there, but a lot of torque steer is there. And just look at the pole, okay? Now after 5,000 RPM, absolutely goes berserk till 7,500 RPM on the tachometer. I have never ever seen this kind of thrust in any car, and trust me, I've driven a lot of AMGs, a lot of M cars, a lot of RS cars, and a lot of sports cars, but this VTEC is simply mind-bogglingly awesome! Woo! Relax, relax, Faisal. What is wrong with you? Oh, my God, what a car. The best thing about this vehicle is the dual characteristic, okay? If I don't rev it all the way like a maniac, there'll be wheel spin lower down, but otherwise it just flies, okay? The dual characteristics is that it's very calm and poised lower down. I mean, you can drive it very steadily. You will never realize that a reaction is going to take place once you cross 5,000 RPM, because most people will never ever cross 5,000 RPM. Driving it sanely, enjoying the atmosphere. Yeah, NVH could have been better. A lot of road noise, a lot of tire noise as well, and of course engine noise is there too. NVH isn't the best, but that lack of NVH is music to my ears. Absolute music to my ears, because the way this car sounds at full belt is just mind-bogglingly awesome. So everything is very sane and calm right now. Okay, 2000 RPM, 60 kilometers per hour, getting hard into the accelerator, here building power slowly. This one produces 106 horsepower and 132 Newton meters of torque from the 1.5 liter motor, which happens to be the VTEC mill. The non-VTEC 1.5 liter City used to produce 100 horsepower. This of course produces 6 horsepower more, but that's not all. It's the VTEC magic which makes it such an amazingly quick car, and it has a soul. The way the motor pulls is mind-boggling. It weighs 985 kgs and thus its such a light vehicle, the steering offers great amount of feel. Body roll, there is no body roll in this vehicle. You sit so low, you're almost sitting to the ground. It's like a go-kart on steroids. The feel is just mind-boggling. Now here we are getting onto the gas. It will not react. There is no reaction because their low end isn't as punchy as you would expect it to be. Changing lanes, no problem. It is so agile, so sure-footed and very confidence-inspiring as well. But this car is all about revving the nuts out of the motor, and when you rev the nuts out of the motor, it really rewards you. Fuel economy is around 12 kilometers per liter. Now driving it sanely, you can obviously increase the fuel economy a lot, and that's how VTEC works. What it does is it conserves fuel at lower end, but when VTEC kicks in, it goes berserk and gives you way too much thrust than you ever need. There's a kick in the pants feeling at around 6,000 RPM. Isn't that insane? The clutch is really light. The gearbox is such a joy to use as well. Perfect shifts. So feelsome. This car is so freaking feelsome. The way, the massive pull. Look at the way it is going through a corner. Tell me one car which can do this. What an engine. What an engine. Trust me, you can never, ever match this City. The VTEC in this is the real genuine VTEC because less weight and great power. Taking a U-turn, look at this, okay? If I get a little hard onto the gas, still it remains so freaking stable, and oh my lord, the chassis is so communicative. You can feel every inch of the road. That's how communicative it is. This car also gets a rear stabilizer for improved handling and stability. Here we go, first gear, revving the motor and off we go. Torque steer, this is the amount of torque steer on offer. Massive madness. In fact, it goes 200 kilometers per hour in second gear itself, and it doesn't let go. It just keeps pulling massively. There is so much feel in this vehicle. Honda, how do you do it? So what VTEC does, it conserves fuel when you're driving the low end, but it goes absolutely berserk when you go in the top end. That is the nature of this engine. You can see the fuel meter is dropping big time because I'm pulling the motor in the top end time and again, but the thrust is absolutely maniac. Absolutely maniac. I know I have been using a lot of superlatives, but trust me, if you have driven even a Ferrari or a sports car like an AMG but not driven a VTEC, well, you have missed out big time. First gear, revving the motor, it revs so cleanly, it sounds so sweet. And which car launches at 7,500 RPM? What is wrong? And it's wheel spinning in between. Mind-boggling. The first 2 years the VTEC got the imported ECU, and in the last year of its sales in 2003 it got a locally sourced one. And that locally sourced ECU, my goodness, that meant that, you know, the top end wasn't as great as before. So if you want to buy a used City VTEC, the best year to buy it will be between 2000 to 2002. 3 years of sales only, costed rupees 1 lakh more, around 1 lakh more than the 1.5 non-VTEC. The motor is the real highlight. It's so reliable, it's so freaking easy to maintain as well. Honda stocks all the OEM parts still. It's a naturally aspirated motor. It works like a turbo motor. That's the level of thrust on offer. Supremely impressive, supremely awesome. Oh my god, I'm in love. This is what VTEC is. This is what VTEC kicks in your means. Not the one in the Brio for sure, not the one in the CRV either. This is what Honda VTEC is all about. Nobody can match that. The VVT-Li is what VTEC is for Toyota, but trust me, Honda also has a lot of variations of the VTEC. There's turbo VTEC, there's iVTEC, and there are a plethora of other engine options from Honda, or rather engine techniques from Honda, which make Honda what Honda is, an engine masterpiece maker. Yes, now coming to the slight issues on offer, the ground clearance is a bit poor. The ride quality is good, I would say, but slightly stiffer. Now, it came with lower profile tires, 175/65 14s, because of which the ride wasn't as good as the regular City. But once you get onto the throttle, you will forget each and everything you ever know. Now that City looks a little lumpy, a little flabbed, a City which hasn't been to the gym, but this one, bare bones, basic, and an absolute rocket. In fact, here we are into first gear. Just see how poised it is through the corners. Taking a corner, no problem, no roll, nothing. It's just pinpoint accurate. The steering offers such great feel as well. What an amazing car. It's a lovely machine. So guys, if you want to buy a used VTEC, well, there might be some available in the market, and it's an absolute joy to use. And you know what, if you like this video, you have to definitely give it a thumbs up. That's a like button, and also subscribe to the channel. I'm in a sort of a traffic jam, but the traffic jam, once it clears up, is going to reveal a very interesting car, a massively fast car, which still cannot match the VTEC in terms of miles per hour, because that might be fast, the Mercedes G63 AMG, but this VTEC, once it kicks in, is absolutely maniac. It's an absolute beast, and I've done too many absolutely, so I just say I totally adore this vehicle. And guys, thank you so much for watching. Let's do more such reviews in the future. Meanwhile, this car too might be supremely fast, but can't match the VTEC in terms of thrill. This is the Porsche Cayenne Turbo, and this, guys, is the Honda City VTEC. Yes, when VTEC kicks in, yo, my lord, the earth shakes, the world moves, and this vlog gets over as well.